We got this big global boom across emerging markets last decade, and South Africa participated in that. And that global boom helped lift many black citizens here in South Africa to the ranks of the middle class. So we got this really good boom, and all of that sort of made me optimistic about what was going on here. But post the financial crisis, the global financial crisis, it really seems as if this economy has lost its mojo. That the trend growth rate in this economy has now slowed down to about 2.5% or so. And that to me is a really disappointing outcome, that for a country with a per capita income which is still below $10,000, to be growing at 2.5% and have among the lowest employment rates in the world, that is something which to me appears very disappointing. And also because I don't see a way out. There's nothing that I've heard on this trip that I've been here to suggest to me that the growth rate is about to re-accelerate and get back to 3-4% or so.
You said something really important. You said you don't see anything here on the ground right now that would warrant growth of 3.5%, 4%. And we know to make a real dent in unemployment, we need 7% growth.
Right.
This is very worrying. You're not seeing any opportunity right now.
Yeah, because I see a remarkable degree of complacency amongst some of the policymakers in that they think that they're doing a few things here, there, and the other which will make a difference. Maybe it will. But I don't see like any great sense of urgency that, listen, we really need to get growth going again. We really need to sort of deal with this issue. So it seems to me as if this country is still in caching, or the people are still being a bit sort of relaxed about it because of what I call the liberation dividend. The African National Congress has been able to benefit from the liberation dividend, from the fact that they got dignity back for the majority population out here. But I really feel that window is closing very quickly now, because it's now getting to 2 decades. And now you really can't blame the problems to the apartheid regime for the sharp inequality, the poor education system. It's now their own problem. It's no longer the problem of someone else.
Would you be putting money in South Africa? Would you be investing in SA?
Are we putting more money to work at this juncture? The answer is no. We do have some pockets of investment out here, but in investment parlance, we are still underweight the country.
All right, let's talk about the BRICS summit. Brazil, Russia, India, China, most recently South Africa joining in this newly invented acronym. Do you have faith in BRICS?
Well, listen, I just think that this acronym is so last decade, which is that this acronym worked last decade to capture the fact that all emerging markets experienced a boom, as I mentioned at the outset, and the 4 largest emerging markets were clubbed together in this fancy acronym called BRIC. But this really is a marketing ploy. There's nothing substantive to it. These countries are very different, and I think that they don't have that much attention span to be dancing around on the global stage. So if you look at it, India's growth rate from 9% is down to 5%. Brazil's growth rate is down to only 1%. Russia's growth rate is down to 3.5%. South Africa now is growing at 2.5%. Even China's growth rate has slipped below 8%. So the bloom is off the rose. These countries are no longer the stars that they used to be last decade, many of them.
It's so fascinating, because some would say that the BRICS, the power of the BRICS is growing substantially, and here you are telling me something completely different. So what do you say to those that believe that BRICS are gaining in strength, and they're saying that, well, we're going to be doing things very differently to what the G20 would be doing, or even the G7?
I don't see such concrete results coming out of this grouping because their interests are very different. Right? I mean, when do countries come together? Countries come together when they have some common interest. I don't see much common interest of these countries. Now, for example, India and China want lower commodity prices. All the other countries in this grouping want higher commodity prices. And then you got sort of the fact that these countries are much better off improving their trade with their neighbors rather than trying to sort of trade with each other.